Hello and welcome to the Pancake Parlay episode 2. My name is The Don and I'm here with Chowders. How are
Hey,
you? Yeah, this is good. So today we're going to be delving into some news. We're going to be talking about Game of Thrones, obviously, and we're going to have our own little opinion piece that we're going to have. So I'm just going to start off right here of what actually. Well, last week we were talking about Game of Thrones and there was going to be a spin off, and what is this spin off going to be about? Where is it going to be? I actually have news about it. Do you know about the news at all?
no, I actually don't.
Okay, so I found the news. It's by the producers of the spin-off, and they said that, in quotes, it would be recognizable as a past event in the Game of Thrones kind of series. So, what that says to me is it's something. Obviously, it's something that's already happened in the
Hmm.
timeline. I'm not quite sure exactly where it's going to be. Like, I honestly think it'd be before all the characters from the series are currently kind of there at the moment, if that makes sense. Like something that's 50 years or even 100 years, and that could be something different. It could be the first time they actually fought off the White Walkers back in however long winter was before then. So it could be
Hmm.
something like that. Do you have any
I,
ideas?
I don't know about that. It could very well be that. But I think if if by the end of this series they deal with the White Walkers, I feel that doing more White Walker stuff would be, I don't know, a bit like who cares? Like we've already dealt with the White Walkers. Like what's going to be like White Walker Origins.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be as interesting. What would be interesting is a little bit more about like what you just said before about like seeing current characters maybe in the younger days. Like it would be interesting to see like the uh Ned Stark, back again, like alive and doing things.
Actually, Sean Bean actually doing something. You know.
Yeah, like it would be interesting to see what the like if it was a mini series like you say it is, like maybe like kind of like the Mad King stuff, like a little bit like before the beginning of the Game of Thrones, like what led to the Game of Thrones like series from starting. That would be, I think, a little bit more interesting because we know a little bit about like, oh, Jamie, like, is a Kingslayer and all that kind of stuff, but we don't actually see any of it happen. So it would be interesting to see a little bit of that. But, obviously, even that in and of itself, maybe some people aren't as interested because the show itself gives you that.
It gives you a
Yeah,
pretty good backstory with all that stuff. Like the
yeah,
only way I
exactly.
can really think of it being like this is probably the smartest idea that they could possibly do is kind of do it in like kind of like a Black Mirror type of or like American Horror Story type of thing where it's kind of an anthology series where one season is set 100 years ago and then next season would be a spin-off of a character that was in the main events of the Game of Thrones TV show, and kind of each season is kind of self-contained in a way where it tells a good story and it could be a lot personal instead of just the high stakes end of the world type of thing. It could be very personal, could be literally set in only one kingdom in Westeros and following particular people, and each season could be different. So it would be one of those things, if you don't like the characters, if you don't like this or that, doesn't matter because the next season will be different. So I think that's probably the smartest way to actually do it.
Yeah, I mean that like I actually haven't watched Black Mirror. It's on my watch list, but I
That is,
haven't I
yeah,
haven't
that's a
watched.
hundred
Yeah.
percent. That's 100% a watch list. Pre with that TV show, by the way, um, I think it does. I think the producers and the directors did it on purpose, but literally season one, episode one is probably the hardest one to stomach. Like it's
Hmm.
because the show in general is pretty a nihilistic approach on the future and how technology is pretty bad. Like if it makes us run our lives, so like season one, episode one is probably the hardest episode to watch. So if you can get through that, you can get through the rest of the whole like season 1 to 3, and they have a Christmas special. So you can get through that. Honestly, season one, episode two for me for that one that really hit me in a personal level. That one. But obviously, yeah, each episode's different. Really like the show, and I hope it comes back after season 3.
Yeah, yeah, no, people have been telling me to watch Black Mirror for a while. I just haven't got around to it. Same thing with Westworld. Like, both of those shows sound like something I would really, really want to watch. I just haven't had the time I've just been watching trash stuff instead because I'm an awful human being.
Well, yeah, like once again, they're like Black Mirror is a UK TV show, so it's like 3 episodes per season, aside from season 3, which was a Netflix thing. So obviously you can get through that. And Westworld is like literally 10 episodes, so that's really quick. But
Yeah.
tell me about the trash. Tell me about the
Tell me
trash.
about the
What
trash.
have you been actually like? What's the trash that you've been watching?
I've been binge watching The Defenders
Oh
recently.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Funny story. I actually binge watched Jessica Jones purely because
oh,
I'm like Defenders coming up. I haven't watched Jessica Jones. I might as well binge watch this to get to Defenders at some point. I've only watched 1 episode of Defenders.
sure.
But yeah, tell me your thoughts of Defenders
Um, well, well, let's start like,
with the
have you
Jessica
watched the,
Jones Chronicles.
well, yeah, no, let's start with the whole like Marvel Netflix series, which by the way is kind of interesting that, I think Marvel has made the decision to continue their Marvel Netflix TV series on Netflix, like even though that they are going to be moving away from Netflix a little bit more, from what I understand.
Yeah,
Um,
from what I've heard as well. Yeah.
yeah, so it's I do find it interesting that like they are still keeping some stuff on there. But have you seen Daredevil?
Yeah. Daredevil, yeah, season 1 and 2. Obviously, I had some
Yeah,
problems with season 2. I think a lot of people did
yeah,
midway through, but
mhm.
season 1, Daredevil, is probably the best Marvel TV show. And like Luke Cage was good. Once again, it falls in the trap of maybe
Oh,
too
so
many
you like
episodes.
Luke Cage?
I think
You
I think
like?
I think once again, like I think I fall in the majority of the category where the first 8 episodes is good, and
Okay.
then once a certain thing
Oh,
happens, it literally just switches gear and it kind of falls apart. And that's why
wait, is there any? Is this a spoiler podcast?
yeah,
Can
okay,
we go spoiler?
we just have to preface this. Yeah, spoilers
Yeah, yeah,
for the Marvel
spoilers.
stuff. Okay,
For the Marvel stuff.
yeah, so when
Uh,
Cottonmouth dies, it just tanked, and you lose
yeah,
interest, and then everything
this
just
I
falls
agree with.
apart.
The thing, my issue with Luke Cage is, yeah, I like Cottonmouth. I like the Harlem theme. Like, I like the feel of Luke Cage. It's just that the main character is just so boring. Luke Cage, the actor, like, I don't know if it's the actor's fault, but at least the script that was given to him makes him out to be a really boring character. And he's not very visually fun to watch, when it comes to like action scenes.
Yeah, that
Uh,
makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because like once again, you've kind of hit the nail on the head with that. Because like what I feel, even with Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, I only watched 1 episode of Iron Fist because I just could not do it. But the action is what is kind of missing in these shows where it's very average. Like the only thing that excels is Daredevil, and especially when you
yeah,
show off what Daredevil can do, and like like
by comparison.
the stairwell scene and all things like that. It's like you can get the same action team to do the same things, and it's kind of disappointing. Like even with Jessica Jones, the fights were all right. It just when you compare it to something that they've already done, it feels like
I,
it's kind of lacking in a bit.
I don't find Jessica Jones that much of like an action um genre. It's more a thriller, like mystery. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
why
a
I think maybe
detective
I give
type
it
of
a little bit of
series.
a yeah. I think that's why I maybe give it a little bit of a pass when it comes to the action scenes. I don't really remember it that much. But we'll start with Daredevil. I liked season one. I think it's like yeah, as you said, it's like the penultimate Marvel TV series. It's better than like Agents of Shield. It's better
Oh,
than
dude, Agents
um
of Shields is not even in the same
in
category.
the,
It's like why
what
even bother?
yeah, like I really like Fisk. I like the actor. I like the yeah, just the
Yeah,
casting of it.
Vincent
Just
D'Onofrio
yeah.
was like once again casting spot on for pretty much every single character.
Mm.
And like obviously
I
like
did
season 2 of Daredevil, really got me like midway through for all the Electra stuff, and even top of that the Foggy guy,
yeah, funny.
like he had the whole like I'm falling out, man, you betrayed me. Like I hate when TV shows do that. It's just like oh
Mm.
my god, just like it's a long arc. It kind of reminds me
That
of like what happened recently, just like on the Flash, the new season of the Flash, where they're just like,
yeah.
"Oh, I don't trust you anymore, Barry. I'm not going to talk to you
Mm.
for about 6 episodes, and then forget about it." It's like, just don't do that.
Yeah, like I think it's one of those like typical TV tropes where it's just like, oh, I don't trust you, and aren't going to communicate properly, and then we get into trouble, and that's like a couple of episodes, and then we return and we're all good now and we'll unite against the I don't know, bad guy or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, I you know what, I actually really liked that in season two when they brought Fisk back, he was still scary. Like I loved it. I loved how like he managed to still like have this kind of power even though he was in prison. That scene was just like really great. Even though like Daredevil had brought him down, like he could have just straight up killed Daredevil then and there in jail if he wanted to.
Yeah, he's
Um,
got that menacing presence.
mm. Well, actually, you know what? You're totally right. There was something about Daredevil season two that just didn't like, I don't know, make me enjoy it as much. I don't really know what it was though. Do you?
I don't really know either. Like the action was pretty much still there. I think it just felt like kind of
Maybe the
yeah,
story.
maybe it's
Yeah, I
like
don't
feeling
know.
like it was treading the same ground. Like once again, like the Daredevil versus Punisher was a really good thing, and then after
Yeah, I
that,
did like that.
it kind of like once again like it's a what I think it's the Marvel problem for TV. It's like that's why I was kind of happy that Defenders released 8 episodes because it's just like
Sure.
you don't need these 12 to 13 episodes. Like you can tell a
Yeah.
very competent story arc in a smaller amount of time, then do it and cut out the filler. And I think that's what Daredevil season 2 had. Like it just had the Punisher stuff, and then the Elektra stuff kind of felt like tacked on, being like, oh, we have to kind of do this, I guess, you know?
Yeah. The main, and this is the kind of thing that connects everything to the Defenders a little bit. But we'll go on to Jessica Jones. What was your opinion of Jessica Jones?
It was good. Once again, the action was not so good, but overall, like the acting was good. The story, I guess, was pretty good. Um, it's only really it feels a little bit more personal. The only thing I can really kind of like grind my gears about it is it's kind of I guess force of character. And it's hard to explain, but it's like for example of the character of Carrie Ann Moss. She's like the boss lawyer lady. The
Sure.
the first two scenes you see with her, she's she's hooking up with a woman. So you're like, okay, she likes prefers women, which is completely fine, but that's her main character trait. Like you don't really know anything about her except from she's kind of a bitch sometimes, and that's her main
Oh.
character trait. And it feels like forced diversity for diversity's sake. Like oh, this is a female driven TV show, so let's force a lesbian couple on us, and it's kind of like, and that's the whole storyline did not feel like it was needed. And I don't know, I feel it's like disingenuous. Like it was like, hey, we're a lesbian couple, this is natural now, and that's the show. It didn't like if it was another TV show and it just showed a couple of a guy and a girl, and that was the character's trait, and that's all you know about them is just that they're having an
Sure,
affair.
sure. Right.
It's like obviously there is no character there, but it's different now in this one because she's into females, if that makes sense.
Right. So you're basically saying that the character, like her only trait was the fact that she was a lawyer and that she was a lesbian. That's basically it.
That was pretty much it. Like once
Yeah.
again, she's a lawyer. Like
Yeah.
if you were really smart, you could link it up to Daredevil because Matt Murdock is a lawyer, and then have like
Yeah.
a side case with them two working together or something along those lines, and that would be a lot
Well,
more
they
of a compelling
basically
thing.
do, don't they? In season two, you see she returns in season two. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't remember, but like that's
Uh,
the thing that you should have at least
okay.
said like Jessica Jones. Like I feel like I don't know, it felt a little bit hit and miss for that character, but overall, uh, it was a pretty good show. David Tennant's good; he's always good.
Yeah.
It,
Oh man, David Tennant's amazing in that. I think the okay. So just to give my opinions about what you just said, I don't remember it being so like lathered on in regards to it, but like I do remember it being that. But I don't think it was because like it was a lesbian couple, but more so it was just like just a stereotype like, oh hey, look, we're having relationship problems, but nobody is watching the show for relationship problems. Like we just want to watch like like whether you're straight or gay. It's just come on, like we just want to know more about Jessica Jones kind of thing. But like yeah, I think yeah, it could be just like them doing a diversity thing, but I don't know. I guess we'll see with Jessica Jones season 2, which was also announced. I really like the actress for Jessica Jones. She's really good. I
Yeah,
think
she
she
did a
plays her well.
really good job in Breaking Bad. You know.
Yeah. The one thing, so I think when Kilgrave, sorry, wait, is it Kilgrave? That's his name
Yeah,
in,
yeah, that's
yeah,
Kilgrave.
Kilgrave.
It's fresh in my mind.
Yeah. I just keep forgetting, like, because he's also known as the Purple Man, like in the comics. But yeah, yeah, Kilgrave, like when he escaped the third time, that's when it kind of broke any kind of realism for me for the show because they capture him once and he escapes. It's like, okay, that's fine. It's
Hmm.
like they capture him again and he managed to escape again. And I was like, okay. Then they actually get him in like a
High
deprivation
security,
tank.
yeah, like
Yeah,
prison type of thing.
yeah, and he escapes again. Like I think if they had have taken away at least one of the escape attempts, it would have felt a lot less like a plot device to just extend out the season. Like this is what you were saying about like padding, right?
Mm.
It kind of felt like that. Because like the final escape was very important because that was the escape where you realize that Jessica Jones is no longer affected by his um
Control. Yeah.
control anymore, which was really cool to watch like in the scene. But yeah, it just took it out for me. Like when you realize, okay, he escaped 3 times. Like, come on, you can't come up with something more original than that.
Well, even
That
even
and
the
also
even the climax to me felt a little bit like, okay, that was it. Like
yeah,
it felt like they
the
built it
end of
up.
it.
Yeah, it felt like they built it up
Oh yeah,
so
same.
much because he escaped 3 times, and then the
Yeah.
final plan didn't feel as complex or even as polished as all the other ones when they captured him before. So it's kind of like, okay, you know.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I think yeah, like I think it's narrative dissonance. I think that's what it's called. Like when they usually refer it to video games where your character might be a good guy, like follows the law, would never like commit a crime, but it runs over a dog and like shoots his wife and like does all this stuff like but that's you as a character and that's known as like narrative dissonance. I kind of felt a little bit like that when I was I saw that because I'm like he really believed that she was under his control. Like I couldn't believe it. Like
Mm.
no way. Like from what I understand, like some people said that well, it was his delusion that he really wanted it. He really wanted to believe that Jessica was back under his control, especially because he also knew that she um wasn't under his control, so that wanted him to want her even more, kind of thing. But I don't think it's a good explanation. So yeah, that's another thing that kind of killed the show. But like yeah, like the journey of it was very good. I like Jessica Jones for that. That would probably be like maybe the second, second in terms of like the
All the Marvel stuff and the
yeah
Netflix stuff.
Marvel Netflix stuff.
So tell me about Defenders. Where does that place
Defenders.
then?
Defenders. So the thing is, oh, Luke Cage. Just to finish off Luke Cage, like yeah, I liked it, and yes, as you said, when Cottonmouth died, it kind of went, bad. Like it was really rushed, felt really rushed, and it kind of also with Defenders, they're connecting. It's more like they're connecting Daredevil and um the Iron Fist because it's about the hand.
Yeah.
I've only watched 6 episodes so far. I'm probably going to end up watching the other 2 episodes like later on tonight. But the basis of it is the hand are plotting something which involves destroying New York, and now they all have to come together to take down the hand or the organization. And it just seems like well really rushed and forced because it doesn't make sense as to well it okay in the context of the show it makes sense as to why Jessica and Luke are involved, but I guess for me it for their characters it doesn't make sense. Like uh uh Jessica gets involved because there's a case that connects it to the hand, and Luke is in Harlem and some kids get recruited to the organization. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas it makes sense why Daredevil and the Iron Fist are interested because Iron Fist obviously is the enemy, like the immortal enemy of the hand, and Daredevil was trained by a an acolyte, or I guess a member of the I actually forget where it's from, like
You mean
Kunlun.
Stick? Yes,
Kunlun.
yeah, Stick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Stick, yes. Yeah, Stick is from Kunlun, which is where the Iron Fist was trained.
By the way, I like how we just completely skipped Iron Fist when it came to our Marvel talk. We're just like, yeah, everyone knows.
Look, to be honest, I found the story of Iron Fist far more interesting than the overall story of Luke Cage. The thing that killed Iron Fist was some of the like the fight scenes. Like, oh, it's horrible. Like Arrow has better choreography than this that show.
Yeah, 24
Um,
episode network TV has some better than Netflix stuff. Just think
yeah.
about that.
Although I can't confirm this, I'm from what I understand, the actor for Iron Fist was basically hired pretty late into production, and I think that kind of affected some of the choreography. But don't take my word for it.
Yeah, like he really does feel like a weird cast, like
I
casting
think
choice.
I think he's fine. Like I like the notion that he's he's kind of like he's into yoga. Like well that's what it kind of like. He's like a more like rather than like a straight martial arts kind of thing. Or like kung fu. Like that's obviously in there, but a lot of it like he it incorporates a lot of the kind of relaxing side of like yoga and like some of the stuff he does in the show. But I think in the end, like again, it just seems like there's a lot of filler. Some of the characters are really boring. There's a whole episode that's dedicated to him fighting for people,
Uh
and
huh.
it's just really weird. And I was just I would recommend watching it because it gives a little bit of context to some of the characters in the Defenders because they do some do return.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I watched just one episode of Defenders and just like, okay, so he must have failed that whole mission about him trying to find the hand, because like I
yeah,
think
yeah,
the first episode with that was like, oh, I need to find and kill the hand or whatever it is. So
yeah,
clearly he's like suffering for whatever he did and he's stuffed up. But
yeah,
honestly, I don't feel like there's so much good stuff out there, and if it's something like I usually give a show a chance. But I'm
mm.
just like after the first episode, I'm like, yeah, I kind of got the idea of what this show is and where it's
Is
going,
about yeah,
so I don't really
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like I
That's
need to
fine.
watch it.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. I think in the grand scheme of what's going on in the Netflix series, you don't need to know anything about Iron Fist. Um, but like yeah, in Defenders, like if you just watch Daredevil, you can jump in to the Defenders, in my opinion. Like there's enough commitment for you since you like a character out of the four, right?
Mm.
Um, but yeah, yeah. So as I said, like that's the premise. I kind of feel like in those situations, yeah, some of it feels really forced as to why they're all together, and it doesn't seem natural. As to why, yeah, I think that's probably the nail there. Like, I just don't feel like a lot of the contextual reasons as to why they got together feel organic. And that kind of takes me out of it. But we'll see. Like, I might like it. There's 2 episodes left. So I might like it.
Yeah, like there's no Nick Fury to kind of title in.
Yeah, like yeah, I don't know. It feels rushed because that was that was its their whole goal, right? Like from the beginning, it was supposed to be Daredevil, introduce the other characters, and they're gonna do Defenders, and they've done it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was really successful, and to the point, like especially Iron Fist, because from what I understand, I'm pretty sure Misty Knight is going to appear in his series
Mm. Okay.
um, because from what I understand, in the comics at least, Misty Knight and I forgot the character's name, the one who's currently in a relationship with him. I forgot her name, but they're basically like a duo who, also solve crime. But yeah, so I think that's probably the reason why she's in there, but also probably because Iron Fist is the least watched, I'm assuming, out of the four characters. But yeah. I mean, good luck to him, but yeah, we'll see. Like I'm still waiting. They released the Punisher teaser, which looks alright. I do like the actor for Punisher.
Yeah, he was good in Walking Dead, and I think that just blew up his career. But yeah, like I can't wait for that. Like like Jessica Jones season 2. We'll wait until we like what it's about. Apparently, Kilgrave's back, so I'm like, okay, if he's the half the arc or the story arc, I don't know, but still,
He might just be, to be honest, he might just be like a mental thing, like something that's
yeah,
just there to
like
plateau out.
The Joker in Batman Arkham Knight, where it's like
Arkham
the
Knight,
Joker
yeah,
is technically dead, but
yeah, but
he's
it's
there
messing
haunting
with him.
Batman. So I think that's a really cool one. That
Yeah.
actually segues a really good thing of what I've been watching. I just watched last night Batman and Harley Quinn, the animated DC film.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want spoilers for this one because I haven't seen it yet.
hmm
But yeah. What did you think of the movie?
I really liked it. Like, of course,
Oh, okay.
most of these DC animated things are about, a minute and 10 to like a minute and 30. So they're really quick. You can get them done really quick. And basically, instead of reading like a whole story arc of a comic book, you can get it down to that kind of format. So this kind of feels like it's like one of the Harley Quinn's solo comic books. In a sense that this is a comedy. It's a comedy mainly because of Harley Quinn, and then it's got Batman and Nightwing in it. And I didn't really notice it until like about 25 minutes in, where there's a joke where something smells really bad. Everyone's like, "Oh, it smells disgusting," and Batman's like, "It smells like justice," like shit like that. So I'm just like, yeah,
Ridiculous.
yeah. Once that happens, I'm like, okay, I see exactly what tone you're pulling. So
Okay.
I really liked it. The only thing I can say that it's like I guess negative of it would be that the actress of Harley Quinn is kind of irritating. Like I know Harley Quinn's
Yeah.
kind of irritating, but it's a very different take of Harley Quinn. And I know it
Yeah.
felt like a random like New York like Bronx accent instead of the New York, the other side of New York kind of accent. Like it feels different. And aside from
Yeah.
that,
You're
it's
right.
funny. Aside from that, yeah,
Um.
I laugh. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Where it's like, it's kind of playing on, if you know your Batman stuff, you'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah. I grew up watching Batman the animated series and Batman Beyond and Justice League Unlimited. So I love like those movies, well, TV series as well.
hmm
So the fact that like this and it's made by I believe Bruce Timm from my understanding.
Yeah, original
Um,
creator's pretty much back. Yeah,
yeah.
aside from Paul
Although
Dini, but Paul Dini is like he does other stuff.
Yeah, although from my understanding, I actually really didn't like the Killing Joke that much, like the animated version of it.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't because of the certain
Yeah,
changes that were made. I guess.
yeah, I don't know. Like, I think at the same time, like, I understand why people. Well, I think for people like it's been out for a while, so I'm sure we can spoil the Killing Joke,
Yeah,
right? Like,
comic book, and the movie. I guess. Yeah.
yeah. The comic book's really great. I think that's probably actually one of the reasons why the movie didn't work because the comic book in and of itself is quite short in the grand scheme of a graphic novel,
Mm.
right? So there probably really wasn't much to add to it, and I guess that's why. Like at the beginning of the movie, it's about Batgirl, and it's about her, going after a villain, and I think that was actually really cool. I actually really liked that part. The thing that I didn't like about the Killing Joke was the Batgirl Batman relationship. Like that, yeah, I don't know. Like I'm not a big fan of student teacher
It's like
relationships because there's a lot
you've
of
crossed the line.
yeah. I think it's a thing that I believe in the comics they expand upon the fact that uh, Bruce Wayne and Barbara Gordon had a bit of a thing going on. And yeah, it's implied in Batman Beyond as well, where in the future, Barbara Gordon actually becomes the new Commissioner Gordon, which I always kind of loved. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't like these kind of forced relationships, and I've heard like a very similar thing happens in this movie, Batman Harley Quinn between Nightwing and Harley.
Yeah, it does, but once again, it's played more off as a joke. Like it's like,
As a joke,
yeah,
right?
like kind of throughout the thing, like Nightwing kind of feels ashamed of himself. He's like, I can't believe I did that. Like it's once again, it's played off as a joke, and that's why it's like once you realize that this movie is a comedy and not anything else, you're like, okay, this is you're gonna have a lot of fun, and even like the music's actually really good as well. It's
The
it's
music. Oh, so
it
yeah,
stood out to me. I'm like, oh, okay, this is different. This is kind of like a kind of jazzy type of feel, and I kind of like it.
yeah. You see that's the thing with the old TV series. Like it's very much like a very different scene. I don't know what to really call it. Like I remember talking about it before. It's like almost like a neo noir
Yeah,
setting,
it's got
kind of
that.
like Gotham,
Yeah,
right? I don't know if you've seen the Gotham TV series, but it's set in modern times, but they drive old fashioned cars. They have old school TVs, but they have phones, but the phones are flip phones. And
yeah,
they
yeah.
have
Like
like
okay,
they pick and choose like what they want just for like the genre that they're in. So it's kind of like a neo noir setting, and
yeah.
so
It's
like yeah, like they do have like the jazzy vibes and stuff
they
like
got that
that. They do.
stylized. Yeah, they got that stylized presence of like
Mhm.
for sake of it just looks like old school. I guess Hollywood. Like when they were making films like Maltese Falcon and things like that, where it looks very kind of classy, but it feels of a different age, and once again I like that feel. That's to me that's part of Batman, and the appeal of it is that kind of that feel that you miss with all that type of stuff.
The thing that you reminded me of. So the voice actress for Harley Quinn, she's Bernadette from The Big Bang Theory. So that's probably the reason why maybe you might find it for well, the audience might find it familiar if you watch Big Bang Theory.
I do not.
You know, I used to watch Big Bang Theory, so I immediately and I watched them behind the scenes for like back when they were making this movie, and I was like, oh, it's one of the characters' girlfriends from the show, and they didn't, but for some reason they didn't have the original voice actress come back. Tara Strong, she's really great. She was from the animated series, and she's been the voice of Harley Quinn for a very long time.
Yeah, she's
So
basically she's basically about the same length of time she's been Harley Quinn is the same length as basically Kevin Conroy has been Batman. Like it's
yeah, exactly.
basically
Yeah,
those two going hand in hand. That's like the duo right there with Mark Hamill. Like that's what you
yeah,
need really.
exactly. And so yeah, it's a bit disappointing that they didn't have her back, but I guess I'll see. I mean, that's probably the reason why you might have found her voice quite annoying, just because she does have,
She's
like
used
as you
to
said, like a
being playing
very
an annoying character in an annoying show.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't think she was annoying in it, but anyways.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
find
but so you
the whole
liked
show is obnoxious. But yeah, Batman and Harley Quinn, I'd recommend it. It's
okay.
because a lot of the DC animated stuff they really follow maybe like I guess like one graphic novel or so. This is just a basically just one off created thing, and it's just a
Yeah, like
comedy and just have a lot of fun.
yeah, cool. Like yeah, I'm like I'd like more. I'd love for them to just do more of like the old style of DC animation because everything since um Justice League Unlimited have pretty much been pretty poor by comparison,
The only thing,
except Young Justice,
yeah, I was about to say
which
aside from
which is
Young
getting a third
Justice,
season. Yes,
yeah,
so
like good. Like once again, everything nowadays is like wish fulfillment, where it's like, hey man, you should renew this, or this one deserved the second season. It's like it's coming back, and most of the time they don't do so well. Like
well,
something like Arrested Development, where you're like, it exists now, but it feels different, you know.
yeah, but I think with Arrested Development, they had a huge like gap between the last season of the initial series and the new season. So I think they had to work with it creatively in a way that I wouldn't blame. I haven't actually watched all of Arrested Development, so I can't really say for sure. But my old housemate, she loved it. And yeah, that's what she explained to me was the reason why. I hope at least for Young Justice, it's good. Like it looks all right. Like they bring back the original cast members. They're putting in some new stuff. I think they'll probably have a bit. It's gonna have a bit of a time skip, from my understanding. Just hopefully not 5 years like the second season had. I think that's what threw off a lot of people for season 2 at least.
Yeah.
That, and also I'm pretty sure from my understanding the reason why uh Young Justice got cancelled was because people went, well, not people, but rather kids went buying merchandise for it.
Yeah,
And
that's what
you
I
know,
heard that story as well. Yeah.
yeah, like that, it's a bit of a shame. Like that's what it comes down to. Like, whether a show's successful or not is whether or not you sell toys. But I mean, that's what they are. Like, the TV shows are kind of glorified ads, promoting toys. But I think, that's what Netflix has basically done. They basically gave a platform for people to show their interest in Young Justice, because I believe that basically single-handedly got um, the red, not red light, but rather like, green light for the
The
season
opposite,
3.
the,
And
the
now,
opposite of
yeah,
red.
the opposite almost, yes. But yeah, and now, like, there's plans for season 4 and season 5. Like, they already have everything in set. And also the fact that they're going for a more mature feel, season 3, from my understanding. And that's because they understand, well, their audience is older, so maybe we can do more mature themes. Because I'm pretty sure one of the characters is going to be, or coming out as gay, from my understanding.
Hmm.
But like, ooh, it's like, who is it?
Yeah, like
Like,
honestly,
yeah,
yeah. Not only that, but like obviously it could probably be mature because there's also backlash for something like Teen Titans Go, which kind of had
sure,
that kind of teenage type of thing that like everyone loves that. And now the new Teen Titans Go is like everyone's like bring back the old Teen Titans, and I think
yeah,
maybe
sure.
Young Justice will bring up that mantle, while Teen Titans Go will be the kiddie-ish type funny one.
With that being said, there is, I think, a crossover between, I think it's Young Justice and Teen Titans Go, which is really hilarious because uh, they have like a bit of a song, and all the Young Justice characters, they basically, say, oh, well, nobody takes your team seriously because you're too kiddie, and so they just transform into these hulking, ugly versions of themselves, and it's really great. I would recommend everyone to watch it.
All right.
Yeah.
That is I guess Batman and Harley Quinn and Young Justice. You've been watching anything else?
No, not really. I've just been watching The Defenders. Other than that, Game of Thrones. That's it. That's all I've been watching at the moment. What about yourself?
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty much it. So do you want to move on to Game of Thrones?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So this one was this episode's like about like an hour and 15 minutes. It was a very long time. So that's a big long time to just do a lot of shit with it. And this actually got leaked. I may or may not watch the leaked version.
I may or may not have also watched the leaked version.
I couldn't. Yeah, that was it was the thing. But yeah, this one, I guess, do like once again spoilers for Game of Thrones. Yeah. So let's go out with a bang, and let's talk about the big one. Okay, dude, Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's
Blue
real.
Eyes White Dragon. Yeah, it's real. Yeah,
That's
people have
literally
been
the trap card.
Yeah, that's it. Like, people have been predicting that was going to happen for a while. But it's good to see that they didn't blow all their budget on episode 3. Like, they still had some money left over to do some of the cool stuff for this episode, and one of them was the Dragolich or Ice Dragon or whatever it's going to be. It's going to be great. It's going to be glorious. I love it.
Now this kind of evening up the playing fields. Now I feel like okay, because the dragons basically wrecked his whole army. Like it was pretty much just like, honestly, if all 3 dragons were still alive, like you could have ended it then and there, like just blown them up. But yeah, like an ice dragon, that's gonna be very interesting because you saw the effects of the fire in I think episode 4 or 5 when everyone started to burn. So imagine that, but ice, and people are shattering left and right. So I think having a dragon really changes the dynamic of what's actually happening, and like, and on that note, once again, the show, like people giving a flack for this episode for, I guess the timing, because it's like, for example, they got attacked. They got attacked. They fought some guys. They got trapped in that little island thing. Gendry's running. we don't know how long they've been walking in, so maybe it's literally 5 minutes down the like road, or it could be like a day or two's walk. So yeah, Gendry gets there. Somehow Daenerys gets the Raven saying, we need your help, and then she flies over there. So it's like I'm willing to go my disbelief of like timing and things like that. But yeah, that one I guess was like a little bit of a disjointed thing.
Yeah, I think the thing with this episode is they broke at least like three Olympic, records because they had, um, the king, the Night King, do like a
The
really awesome
javelin,
spear
yeah, like
throw,
that's a 10 out of 10, maybe 11
10 out of
right
10.
there.
You had Gendry like running like crazy. Like that dude was like faster than Usain Bolt, running back to the wall.
Hmm.
And then you also had the Hound, shot pudding. Like he did great. That was a huge
Oh yeah,
distance to
that
to 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 knock out that skeleton, which by the way was hilarious.
yeah,
I
like
did
what?
love that scene.
Yeah, I think Game of Thrones can be funny when it wants to be, and it's not like forced. Where it's just like, shit, like, and even like the Hound throughout this whole episode was just basically like, I don't really want to be here.
Oh
Where
yeah,
like the wildlings talking about like, oh yeah, this
yeah, yeah.
beautiful woman
Tormund.
called like no, it's like beautiful woman called Brianna Tarth, and it's like, oh, I know that bitch, alright. Like it's like he's like a very funny character, and I'm just like, yep.
Yeah.
And I
I,
feel
I, th-
I like the dynamic.
Yeah, I didn't realize that connection until Tormund did start going on about Brianna Tarth, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like I love that opening spiel by him. It's great. It's the Game of Thrones Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah,
This
that
episode.
I've already picked the thumbnail for this segment. It's gonna be the Suicide Squad version of it. Like it's all
Nice,
cropped.
nice, nice.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's really great. But yeah, no, I think a lot of this season is kind of it is becoming a little bit of an issue for me, just all the whole timing thing, and at least that's what you're kind of seeing with this episode. I'm just hoping that it all gets wrapped up well, because I think a lot of it is becoming a little bit wish fulfillmenty. One of my friends, he gave a pretty good kind of comparison to the books, and he was saying that George R. R. Martin made he started Game of Thrones like to be kind of a subversion of the fantasy genre. And so like, certain things that you'd expect wouldn't be, what would happen. Like, the girl doesn't save the princess, doesn't kill the dragon, all that kind of stereotype crap. I'm just hoping that like everything kind of wraps up in Game of Thrones in a very Game of Thrones way rather than a very everyone and they all live happily ever after.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
my kind of like inkling that maybe it doesn't become like that, but I hope that I'm proven wrong with it.
yeah, probably because like once again with this whole subversion thing, like there's a whole like kind of like the end of the episode. There's a romance between like kind of sort of I guess glaring romance between Jon Snow and Daenerys. So it's kind of like you know like the whole happy ending thing could be like they both rule together and they somehow have kids because they're both freaking Targaryens,
Targaryens.
or the Game of Thrones thing would be one of them dies or both of them die. And yeah, that's the thing. It's like if you're forcing the romance, there has to be some sort of payoff at the end. Like someone either has to die or there's a reason why
Yeah,
behind
that's
the
true.
romance. There wouldn't be
That's
there wouldn't
true.
be a romance for the sake of romance.
It's just a very odd romance. Like, I guess in the context of the show, they don't know their aunt and nephew, but I mean,
I don't
it's
know, man.
just
This
yeah.
this show's got brother and sister love, so I'm pretty sure at that point
I,
you
I
can
think
you can suspend anything now.
sure, but I think it's just the fandom, like the people who are very very pro, Daenerys and you know,
Jon Snow
John,
doing stuff
but
together.
but they're very anti Cersei and Jamie, and I'm like, but both yeah, I don't know, just it's
They're
just very
both weird
interesting.
either way.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see what people cherry pick, but I think overall it's very cool. Like it's like in the context of what's happening, like it's all makes sense. Um, I, man, when I thought Tormund was going to be taken, uh,
Taken down.
by the Yeah, oh man, I was like, oh, wow, they're actually gonna kill him, but then they didn't. Like,
Yep.
what is it?
Well,
The
that's the thing. They
Hound?
didn't. Yeah, they didn't really kill anyone. They killed all the no names,
Jeez, yeah, they
and
killed
I
off.
and the guy who heals people back to life. I knew from day one. I'm like, yeah, he's dying. But yeah, like
Yeah,
once again, it's like I'm like, if this if the books were out and there was no rush to do this, I'm pretty sure, like, once again, if the books were out, this whole beyond the wall thing of trying to get a White Walker back, I think that would be something that would take maybe 2 to 3 episodes. Like, there'd be a lot more walking, a lot more talking, things like that. But yeah, obviously this is like all condensed in kind of like the one big episode.
I'm pretty sure just Daenerys flying over from Dragonstone would take the whole season. Like that would probably be the season finale in my opinion. In a typical season, like that episode that we saw would probably have typically been the season finale
mm,
of a typical Game of Thrones season. But there's just so much going on, and it makes me
worry.
like, I guess no. I guess no, more excited to see, like just what do they have left, you know?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because when I came into this season, I'm just like, oh yeah, they're gonna kill freaking what's the woman at the queen at the moment? I forgot her name.
Cersei,
Yeah, Cersei. I thought they're gonna kill her
Cersei.
and then deal with the White Walkers, but it feels like Cersei's probably gonna die in the penultimate episode to the whole series, or the final even episode even. Like there's like I'm pretty sure she's not gonna fight with them, but like I feel like always thought, yeah, this season's gonna be her, next season White Walkers, but it feels like it's gonna be a mishmash of both.
I
In
like
that
I,
way.
I like one fan theory, which is that Cersei um decides to join with the White Walkers. How viable that theory is, or not, who knows? But I like the notion of, there's a Night King. Why can't there be a Night Queen? That
Ooh.
makes sense.
Well, yeah,
Um,
I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in Game of Thrones, which is like, okay, what's going on here? Like, there's all these theories about like, oh, when Jon Snow got saved from the ice, like, did he turn into a White Walker? Is he controlled by the Walkers? All the way to like, who is the Night King? Oh,
oh wow,
who is the
wouldn't
Night
that be
King? Or
great?
is in Bran? Does he control the Night
Bran,
King?
yep,
And I'm
I've
like,
heard
what?
that one.
I'm like, okay, I think you guys are overreading it, but
Well,
I
well,
don't know.
well, I think with the I think that would be actually a very interesting conclusion to Game of Thrones. Like, let's say, turns out, Jon Snow does end up ruling the throne, but then you find out that he is actually a White Walker
Yeah,
because he came back. Like, and that's the big, and because he was brought back by the Lord of Light, it's the ice and fire thing. It's a combination. It's like it's Armageddon in a
yeah.
sense.
That's
That
actually
would
really
be
interesting.
that
Yeah,
would be a Game of Thrones ending
yeah,
right
that
there.
right
I'd be
there.
very happy. I'd
Mm.
be very happy if that was ending, because not only would I be right with John being the king, it would be a very Game of Thrones ending. I'd love that. I have heard the brand theory, because they say that the Night King is actually Bran, because there was another theory about there being three dragon riders, and so we have one dragon rider, which is obviously
Daenerys.
Daenerys, another potential dragon rider, which is John,
Mm-hmm.
um, but then you also have the Night King could be a dragon rider if you think about it. And
Well,
in
when he summoned that dragon, he's probably gonna ride the damn thing.
yeah, probably. But if you think about it, again, this is the series. The book series is called A Song of Ice and Fire. Daenerys is on a dragon, and she is basically all fire. The Night King is ice. And if it turns out to actually be Bran, like, because he's a Stark, he comes from ice. And then finally you also have John, who is ice and fire. So there is, like, so, like, again, that could be people reading into it again too much, but it is interesting how there is there are some connections, and it was fan connections that inevitably found out that John was initially a Targaryen love child to begin with.
Mm.
So who knows? It could be the case.
There's so many
You know,
theories, but yeah.
there's so many theories,
But yeah,
but no, I personally really like the uh, John being a White Walker theory. That would be pretty interesting. As a big fu to the audience for rooting for him the entire time.
pretty much, or rating anyone. But
Rooting anyone, yeah,
yeah.
that's a mistake.
Yeah,
That's a mistake.
100%. But yeah, the only thing I can really think about on the rest of this episode is once again the action was pretty good, and what the hell's happening with Sansa and Arya? Like
Oh
I,
man,
like
yeah.
once again you were right about the whole thing. Like I know, like Arya's smarter, and she kind of knows, but like I'm not quite sure where this is going with like the whole Brienne of Tarth thing, or I don't know where is it going?
Yeah, I don't know either. Like again, like I was thinking, I guess, like, oh, well, she fell for it, right? Like that's what I initially
Mm.
thought. I thought, oh, Arya's fallen for the note, right? But then it seems like it's kind of like she knows more. Like she knows that, and in a sense, like in the initial season when I think it was Rob and who gets Sansa's letter, like they immediately know that, oh well, there's no way this is really Sansa,
Yeah.
right? Like this is her being
Man, you by the way, you got some really good memory for remembering that.
Yeah. No, it's just because like it's a very like important moment. At least when I remember it, that's the reason why I do remember it. Because once the actual note was revealed, like, because I didn't know what was the contents of the note until you told me. I think
Yeah.
last podcast, like, yeah, like with that particular, and even Arya references it, like she says that, oh well, they obviously know that you don't mean it, but I know you, and I know what you're like. But I think it's more of her probably just trying to scare Sansa into doing the right thing, which is not betray John, because in the sense that, yeah, you kind of got the feeling that Sansa is kind of letting the lords like talk smack about John, and having her you know you know take over as the new Lord of Winterfell. I don't know.
It's one of those,
Lordess.
but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things, and yeah, like I think that might be it, because you do see in the reveal, like, she doesn't actually stab her; she gives Sansa the knife, and in that moment, Sansa could have done something, but she didn't.
Yeah,
So
there's
who
there's
really
something
knows?
weird yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, she's becoming a little bit of a psycho. That
She
might just
there,
be
she has been since like season 3, like, but she's getting worse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, yeah, I just don't know where it's gonna go. I'm interested to see. Like, I think it's all one big ploy, maybe to catch Littlefinger.
possibly.
Um,
Yeah, it's gonna be like one big reveal.
because again, I still think that Arya will probably survive this season.
But
Just
next,
because,
I'm pretty sure she's gonna die.
yeah, maybe. Like, well, I mean, that's the thing with Bran handing her the
The
knife,
dagger, yeah.
the dagger, with that has the dragon glass in it. I think that's pretty important. So that's the reason why I say maybe she dies giving it to Jon Snow at an important moment.
Yeah, she
Like, who
throws
knows?
it up. Jon Snow catches it and stabs the Night King because Jon
Yeah,
didn't have any weapons or something like that. I don't know.
yeah. That's something pretty interesting that they put into this episode. They showed that if you kill one of the Night Walkers, their zombie thralls also kind of die as well.
Yeah, it's one of
But
those like a very easy kind of cheapish way to being like, there's
very
there's
video
a whole
game.
army. What do we do with them? Oh, just take out the signal, the leader, the
Yeah,
glowing blue thing in the sky, and it will all be finished. Like, it's a sci-fi fantasy trope now where it's, but
sure.
I don't mind it. A lot of people really hate it when it's like, oh, it's in the Avengers or Suicide Squad or something, like a glowing ring of light somewhere in the sky, and it's like it needs to be defeated. But it's kind of the same thing where it's like, defeat this
I, th-
one thing destroys the rest.
I think in again, like, in the context of the show, it makes more sense. Like, they wouldn't know that would happen, and it's not that they all went after the Nightwalker
It was
there.
incidental, yeah.
Yeah, very incidental. So again, it's like it's all about how you do it, not what is being done. But yeah, like, I don't know. Was there anything else that was pretty major from the episode outside of, world's fastest dragon flight?
Yeah, not really. It was
Yeah,
basically just a Sansa Arya thing and a Jon Snow episode. Like we didn't see any like Jamie or anything like that. It was pretty it was just beyond the wall, like that one whole hour, pretty much.
yeah. Wow, yeah. It's a pretty, yeah, yeah. It's also because it's not fresh in my mind. That's why I also don't remember it.
Oh yeah, because you
Because
might
once
might have
again,
watched
I
it a little
may or
bit.
may
Yeah,
not
you
have.
might have.
Yeah, yeah. Once again, I may or may not have watched the leaked version of this episode, so it's not
They
fresh
did
in
fix
my
the
mind.
audio, by the way. But yeah, all right.
No,
Okay,
no, no. I downloaded the. Oh wait,
the
I may
better
or may not
audio
have.
version. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I may or may not have watched the audio fixed version.
Jeez, man,
uh,
treading the line here, treading the line.
but yeah, no. Yeah. I think overall, I really liked the episode, but I think like yeah, it's having pacing issues. This season is very different from the previous seasons.
Yeah, like
We'll
yeah. Once again, I feel like they've got that pressure where they said, yeah, 2 more seasons. This is how we're gonna do it, and they've got kind of like the base structure of the story points they need to hit through. And like I said, if like the books were out or there was like George R. R. Martin actually writing the script, for example, I'm pretty sure there would be a lot more stuff going on. But you know, since they do have that deadline, they're kind of like, you know, what do we really need to do? Because like I said before, you know, if this was in a previous season, you know, it would take maybe 2 or 3 episodes for them to actually do something, like to get to the battle with the dragon and everything in comparison. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, look, to be honest, I don't know. Like, look, you're under time constraints, but that's of their own fault, the way I see it, because they could have done another 3 seasons, and I don't think anybody would have really complained.
Yeah, I think
If
if
it was
anything,
if it
yeah,
was
I don't
three
know.
seasons.
Maybe it would been the actors being like, we want some more money. I don't know. A lot of behind the scenes stuff probably.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, yeah, you're right. It could be a funding issue, but I think Game of Thrones is a very, um, you know, very well watched and
I think it is,
highly profitable
I think it's the
show.
biggest TV show currently at the moment.
Yeah. So
But
I think they could have gotten away with doing a third extra season or a fourth extra season if it meant that they could have paced it out better. Because yeah, because I don't think that's an excuse, in my opinion, that well, we're under time constraints that we placed on ourselves.
mm.
um Now we have to rush everything. um
Yeah.
that doesn't excuse bad writing. I
Yeah.
don't think that, like, I think you have to go off the merits of the actual show, and in the end, like, if somebody's going to watch this 10 years from now, they're not going to be like, oh well, they had to rush the last 2 seasons. Like, that's not going to really change their opinion of whether it ends well.
Yeah, it's gonna feel, yeah,
Yeah,
it'll feel different pacing wise.
it's gonna, yeah, and I think anyone who watches this show will realize the pacing issue with it. But we'll see. Like, I think like, there's still a chance for Game of Thrones to be very different. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right, well, that is our Game of Thrones talk. We're gonna do an extra little segment here. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be calling it, but it's kind of like an opinion-based thing, like a question that we put on ourselves, as well as the listeners. You can actually email us at pancakeparlay at gmail.com, pancakeparlay at gmail.com, and that is one word, of course. And so essentially, we're just doing a topic, and basically we're putting our 2 cents in, as well as hopefully the listeners. And the question in talking about it is, what is the best movie to show your significant other, like, for example, like on your first date, or someone you want to impress that is opposite sex, like something that you want to be like, hey girl, come over to my place, we got this cool movie, or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let's hear your movie first, Don.
Okay, so my movie that I would actually show someone, that I would be like, hey, what's up, would be Cabin in the Woods, 2011's Cabin in the Woods.
Okay.
So it's one of those melding things. It's a horror comedy, and I think those work really well. Like, once again, if a girl doesn't like horror, too bad, because you have some comedy in there as well. But from what I've read in random reports, is that if you do actually want to impress a girl, and it's kind of a random, stupid, like, trick way to do it, is
Oh
apparently
yeah.
now
Yeah.
apparently
No,
horror
I was gonna
movies
say.
horror
Yeah.
movies apparently increase your heart rate, which makes the blood flow bigger, which means like she'll have like a lot of endorphins going on or whatever it is, and therefore meaning more likely to cling to you and more likely to just be like, I had a good time with this person, I wonder what it was. It's probably the good horror movie because you're scared shitless. So I would choose Cabin in the Woods. Not only that, but once again, the comedy aspects, you can test out their type of comedy, and it's a subversion of the horror genre where it's a little bit of comedy, a little bit of horror, and yeah, it's not that long. It's about 90 minutes, and yeah, and also kind of it would test her knowledge of movies, I guess, being like, oh, this person, this cameo, to even just like A Cabin in the Woods is very equivalent to Evil Dead, so that's something I would pick. So that's my pick.
So you just want to test out whether or not they have good movie knowledge. That's what you're trying to tell
There's a bit of both. It's like there's some movie knowledge, once again the horror aspect, going up there, and it just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like it's a good ride of, it's not exactly what you seem, and the mystery behind it, for a person who hasn't watched it, be like, ooh, this is something different. I wonder what this is about. So yeah, that's why I think Cabin in the Woods is actually something you should show someone who you want to impress.
Yeah. I actually haven't watched Cabin in the Woods. Was it directed by Joss Whedon?
It's directed by his friend. I forgot exactly his name, but I think
Okay.
it was co-written by like Joss Whedon and him.
Oh, it's co-written. Okay, yeah, because I remember it was something or other. He's in some hot water as of recent, from my understanding.
Oh, here we
But
go.
yeah, yeah, no, I see. I didn't take any kind of scientific route in this. Like, it's very interesting that you brought up the horror. Like, it is a bit of a stereotype to take a date out on a horror movie, but it makes sense in what you're saying. I was actually going to go with Wonder Woman,
Ooh,
just
okay.
because just because it is once again the like the and I think currently the most successful um origin movie for a superhero that's been released, surpassing the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man, making I think 400 plus million, which is
That's a lot. Yeah,
huge.
that's a lot.
and and I think it's made 800 million like international. And I think the 400 million being significant, I think, is in domestic sales, so in America. From my understanding, I could be wrong about that. But just because it's just a movie that it has something for the guys and something for the girls. Like you have Gal Gadot once again. Like gosh, like she's so good as Wonder Woman. I was very scared whether or not like she'd be any good because I think the only other movie I've seen Gal Gadot in is
Fast and
Fast
Furious.
and
Yeah,
Furious.
that's like that's
So,
the only thing really.
yeah, but she actually absolutely destroys it in Wonder Woman because I think it's the thing that she does. It's like face acting, and I think the fact that she's a model um, definitely helped her out with it because I was and me and I think a lot of other people were very convinced of that she was this like naive but yet very confident protagonist, trying to do good in the world. But yeah, and it's got something for the guys. Like it's an action film. It's there's fighting. There's all that kind of stuff. But then they also have like something for the girls. Like again, like you have a female character. She's strong. She's independent.
Need
There's
no man, if
comedy.
you will.
Yes, yes, exactly.
But there is
But
also romance there, so you're just kind of like, okay, this is good, this is good. It's kind
yeah,
of,
like it's in there.
especially once again, if you're trying to impress a girl, be like, hey, they're kissing. What's going on with
Yeah.
us? You know?
Although I do love the scene on the boat where he does start like she does reveal that she knows everything about human anatomy and biology. It's quite hilarious to watch. But yeah, like I think Wonder Woman's a pretty good one just because it kind of hits all the bars. But yeah, like again, maybe not the scientific um, but yeah, the other one I was thinking, like, maybe if they like black and white movies, I was gonna say Casablanca, but that's
Ooh,
a personal bias for me because I really like Casablanca. I don't think a lot of people, who kind of enjoy more modern movies might not like it because it kind of does start off slow, but I think like Casablanca is just kind of a subversion of the romantic genre.
Yeah,
Like it is still
it's
a
it's
romance
solid.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a romance film, but it's a very interesting romance film. Like it's something like, like guys will like Casablanca. Like it's a
Everyone wants
yeah,
to be Humphrey Bogart, you know?
yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's so great. Like and not everything about it is about the romance plot. There is like, other stuff going
Once again,
on.
it's in the backdrop of World War II, so
Yeah,
it's a
exactly. Yeah.
very, yeah, once again, a very interesting film. That's actually a really good film because obviously I love that film. I think a lot of movie fans do because it's generally voted as one of the best films, if not the best film of all time, depending on who you actually talk to. Um, but yeah, once again, that is 100% like to me. Casablanca would be a movie that you show your like someone that you've been dating for a while, like
Yeah,
second
a
or
while.
third,
Yeah,
yeah, second
exactly.
or third
Yeah,
date, being like want to get kind of close together, being like, there's this really amazing movie, I really want to watch it with you and kind of
yeah.
experience that whole thing
Maybe
together.
that's my test. Maybe if they're willing to watch Casablanca, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it. That's how you know.
you found the
That's how you
one.
know from the get go. Boom, right there.
They
But yeah,
really
no,
really watch something that's black and white.
yeah, 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 and then they fall asleep midway, right?
Like oh, jeez, you people. Yeah, no, that's actually a really good choice. I actually wasn't thinking about anything like that, because like if you like in that vein, then it would be something like I don't know if you ever watched it, but Audrey Hepburn's Roman Holiday with Gregory Peck,
No, I haven't. No, like, yeah, I have to actually watch some
older
like,
ones.
yeah, older films, like, because I have seen Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah,
I
that
have
was
seen
just at the eve of like kind of like a big color thing, like 60s, 50s. But yeah, like
Yeah.
even I had something like that. I actually pushed myself to watch older films and appreciate them and where things came from, because I'm just like I read the books and everything, and like 1001 movies, whatever to watch, and
Before You Die or
yeah,
something like that.
stuff like
Yeah.
that, or like these big lists. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna watch all these films, and I watched all the way from Charlie Chaplin and The Gold Rush, and
Oh wow.
moved it into Metropolis, which is highly regarded as
Yeah,
pretty much the
Metropolis.
first
Yep.
kind of big sci-fi film.
Mhm.
All the way to the modern-ish kind of classics. Once again, like the Maltese Falcon, um, Rebel Without a Cause, the one with Marlon Brando, the waterfront one on the waterfront, obviously. So yeah, I basically pushed myself to watch it, even and especially even international films like one of my favorite directors and it was a big inspiration for someone like George Lucas and Coppola was the Seven Samurai and Akira Kurosawa. His films. Once again, The Hidden Fortress is basically Star Wars but set in feudal Japan. And that's where George Lucas mainly got his idea for Star Wars. So
Yeah, I have heard. And, yeah, hey, it makes sense. Samurais are basically Jedi. That's basically it.
yeah, so I basically just watched basically a lot of history of the genre and movies that have stood out the test of time, and like something like All About Eve. So once again, yeah, it's that we could probably talk about like your favorite black and white films, I guess, at some point. But yeah, I think that's probably the best movies to watch your significant other. Like modern equivalent. Do you have anything that would be that came out
A
in the
mo-
past like 3 years? Like to
a
me,
modern equivalent?
yeah,
Not really, dude. I
because like
can't think of anything that really, like, again, it's like a movie that subverts. There hasn't been a lot of like genre subverting movies in a while. Like, I think Get Out has been the latest kind of genre subverting movie, but again, like that's a very new movie, and it's made by a very like newbie
upcoming
director.
director, yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, I think it's like because once again, once you're new into the I guess Hollywood system, you have those ideas, and then you kind of make one really good movie, and then studios want you to do this big thing, and then from then on, a lot of bad things happen most of the times. That's what unfortunately happens. So, do you have any romance films? Because I was thinking, I'm like, generally wise, like if I wanted to do like on the superhero tail, I would actually pick something like Deadpool.
Deadpool
Would be
for a
very
romance movie.
It's a romance movie at heart, and I think it's really
Yeah,
funny.
you can't even say that without laughing.
it's yeah, it's got heart, and
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Like, yeah, a lot of
like even its advertising campaign, for God's sake, was on Valentine's Day, and it came out and it was
yeah,
like,
oh yeah,
see
that's true.
Deadpool. Like
Yeah, that was hilarious.
I think there's something there that you could actually make a case for, but
Well, I would love the you know I wish I could be someone who watched some guy convince his girlfriend to watch Deadpool based on the advertising of that movie. That would have been hilarious. But yeah, well, I mean, I would just recommend Deadpool in general.
yeah,
Great movie.
Deadpool's really cool. I can't wait for Deadpool 2. That's
Yeah,
gonna be a
you know
thing.
what? I still can't. What is it? Thanos, the guy playing Thanos, is also playing Cable in it.
Yes,
It's so weird.
yeah. I don't know. Once again, we'll see until the trailer comes out and how everything goes. Because once again, Cable's supposed to be the hard ass against Deadpool's really fun nature.
Yeah, yeah.
So, do you have anything else to say? Because if not, I'm just gonna do my pick of the week.
Yeah. No, go ahead. I'd be interested to hear what is your pick of the.
So I was just looking and I'm like, okay, what should be my first pick of the week? And it's actually a show that I don't think anyone that many people watch. It's on Netflix, so it should be very easy accessible to a lot of people. It's a show called Master of None. Have you ever watched this show?
So I haven't. I've heard of this show, but I haven't watched it. It's a comedian,
Aziz,
Ansari.
yeah, Aziz
Yeah,
Ansari,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's basically taking, I guess, the early, 3 to 4 seasons of Louis, before Louis turned into some really weird depression drama thing. Because before it used to be kind of funny at sometimes, but Master of None is kind of taking the mantle and the torch of that type of thing, where it does have some dramatic weight and moments to it, where it's like these episodes of they're actually really good episodes. But it does keep the comedy to it. And season 2 came out earlier this year. Good soundtrack. That's something that, when I say good soundtrack, it's like a lot of soundtracks don't really make an impression unless you're like, oh shit, that was a good soundtrack. So once again, good soundtrack. Good concept of ideas. Like even the first episode, first season, it starts off with the 2 people having sex, and they're just like, oh, I guess I have to buy condoms in the morning after pill. And it's general it kind of reminds me of Seinfeld in the sense of this episode has a topic. Seinfeld used to be the laser or this or that. All the episodes of Seinfeld was always the something. And I think Master of None kind of constructs that basic idea really well, where it's there's one episode in season 2 where it's called The First Date, and all it is a montage of maybe about 5 or 6 different girls and how a first date would play out with all the 5 or 6 different personalities, and something like that really cool. So I think check out Master of None, especially you, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, I've been told to watch it. I know of the one episode. I think it's about he's complaining about stuff to his dad, and then it goes back and shows the history of how his dad came to America or something like that, and it's just all the struggle that he had to go through, and it's his son's complaining about whatever it is. It just sounds really funny because that kind of reminds me of my dad. But my recommendation would be Orphan Black.
Oh yeah, didn't that
I
just
don't.
finish?
Yeah, I think it did. I haven't watched all the episodes, but from what I have watched, I'm up to season 5. Yeah, Orphan Black's just amazing. The fact that the main actress, she only got I think an Academy Award after season 2. Her acting is just it's just amazing throughout that whole
It's
thing.
really good
No,
stuff.
yeah, just to fill people in. Orphan Black is about a woman who finds out that there are clones of her, and it just kind of delves into the mystery. And what basically she sees one of her clones commit suicide, and the mysteries kind of unravel from there. And there are multiple clones, and so the same actress plays each clone, and sometimes they interact with each other, and there's a lot of mannerisms, a lot of meta acting. I just love it. It's just a really well made TV series, and yeah, I think even if you don't like everything about it. I think just purely based on the stuff that they do in the show, it's like I haven't seen any other TV series or movie really kind of approach it the way they did. So yeah, highly recommend Orphan Black.
Yeah, it is a good TV show. Like once again with the mannerisms, little bit of acting here. It's kind of like it's mainly followed by Stanislavski theory, where it's like you talk about the mannerisms, how they show themselves, how they talk, and everything like that. So she's basically learned that, and pretty much to a high degree. And it's a very engaging show. It's a very, I guess, weird. It's not one of the main, like that's why I think I don't think it really got that much main mass appeal, which is unfortunate because it is was one of the best TV shows out there. So yeah, I would highly recommend Orphan Black. And it actually reminded me of one little thing about how she just got nominated.
Oh, what?
What okay, what do you call it? I think it's the Emmys. That's the TV show one, right?
Emmys.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it the Emmys? Academy Award Emmys, one of those. Like,
yeah.
I don't always remember. All I know is Grammys is music. That I never make.
That stays there. But
yeah.
what it reminded me of is this outrage, and I really wanted to get your input of it.
Yeah, sure.
Was when they announced the nominations for them. One of the best supporting actresses was Barb from Stranger Things, purely based off a meme, and it's obviously well deserving of a lot of people. And I'm not saying she is bad, but in comparison to the competition there is, I feel like she didn't really deserve it. So, do you know? Have you watched Stranger Things? Yeah.
Yes, you're talking about the friend who died.
Yes, and everyone has the fan following because, oh man, she's just all like us. She's just a nerd.
Oh, I do remember seeing, like, what is it, Justice for Barb or something like that, right?
Yes.
Like, that was the thing. Yeah, okay. My opinion, that's nope, nope. Doesn't sound like she deserves it. At least based on support. Like, it kind of seems like she's a supporting act. Not even. Like, wouldn't the mother be a supporting actress, or no, or would she be a main character?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's an ensemble cast.
Yeah, exactly. It's very hard, but yeah, like, I think in that regards, like, it kind of seems like she is a supporting actress because she died really quickly.
Pretty much.
The series. Yeah, no, that sounds like who are the other nominees for the?
I'm trying to look it up.
Best supporting actress.
I think it's the Emmys.
Emmys. Oh. That's very interesting.
Yeah,
I really like Stranger Things. Like, I'm looking forward to season 2.
Oh yeah, here we go. I think this one's a supporting actress in drama series. Okay, we got Anne Dowd in The Handmaid's Tale, which I haven't watched, but I'm assuming it's the main girl from Mad Men, so possibly her.
Okay.
Then
I've heard great things about Handmaid's Tale, so I can imagine why some people might not enjoy that. But yeah, continue. What else?
We got Samira Wiley from The Handmaid's Tale as well.
Oh wow.
Uzer Abdullah from Orange is the New Black.
And then, has there been new episodes of Orange is the New Black? I'm actually not sure.
I think it came out earlier this year. That's a TV that's kind of like on my guilty thing where I haven't really watched that much of, because there's just so much stuff out there.
Yeah. It does fall into the noise. But yeah, so her.
Actually, wait a second. I'm looking it up. I think I got the wrong actress. Okay, I got the wrong category, guys. Okay. This one is guest actress in a dramatic series. Okay.
Oh, guest actress.
Which is a really weird category to even have.
That is a really weird category. To be honest, they do have to start, coming up with new things, I guess, to give awards for. So
for everyone. Anyways, there's Alison Wright from The Americans, which is actually a good TV show that people should watch. Alexis Bledel from The Handmaid's Tale.
Okay. A lot of Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, people love that. Cecily Tyson from How to Get Away with Murder. I have no clue. Anne Dowd from The Leftovers, which probably should win, but probably won't. Laverne Cox from Orange is the New Black, and then Shannon Purser for Stranger Things. So
what's the length for the nominations for these? Because didn't Stranger Things come out like almost a year ago? if
Yeah.
not more. Yeah. So like,
I
how is she being like? Is it for the new season she's being nominated for? Like, I'm not too sure what's going on with that.
Well, yeah, it's usually delayed. It's kind of like the Oscars, where like 2016 Oscars is celebrating
Okay.
2015 films. So I think this
Sure.
is, but I'm not quite sure because I remember, I think I don't know, it was some sort of other awards where the Stranger Things people got nominated, but
Okay.
like it just that in general, like I do think Stranger Things probably got a lot of pop culture fame, but I guess it didn't really kind of necessarily deserve it in a kind of sense. Where I think
Okay.
I feel like it's waned on to people a little bit, where like they've had some time to digest Stranger Things, and we'll see how season 2 goes. But at the current moment, we'll see.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, if she wins, like, it's a bit of a meme and it's kind of funny. Like, it's always great when,
When
you know,
internet culture wins over the mainstream.
exactly. It's always hilarious. So I mean, in that sense, like, yes, like if people don't take it as a serious win, like if people are doing it just for like the lols, like that would be pretty great, and I do like that. But at least based on her performance, not so much. But apparently she's gonna be in season 2? Question mark. Like,
I'm not quite
who
sure,
knows?
but yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
Anyways, guys, that is the second episode for the Pancake Parlay. So thank you for listening. You can find this obviously on YouTube. I'm working on putting it on other podcasting places, and on top of that, just be good for you. Just be good with each other. Just be nice people. And you can email us at pancakeparlay@gmail.com. So see you later, guys.
Catch you later.